This is titled Profiles of the Future. It's written by Arthur C. Clarke. He's also known as the author of 2001 Space Odyssey. And this is the documentary that he wrote. Here, this is better. Actually, it's more like a non-fiction than a documentary. In that book, he wrote Clarke's 3 laws. And the book explains what they are. For example, what happens if Leonardo da Vinci, Archimedes, or Galileo Galilei saw a helicopter or a car? The point is to discuss how difficult it is to predict the future. Some people often embrace human imagination by saying, look at these old documents, novels, and comic books. The modern times were predicted a long time ago. While others say, those are all wrong predictions of the future, so they are untrustworthy. Clarke saw consistent laws in this kind of future predictions and advocated them. In the book, he claimed, if we brought people from different eras 1,000 years apart from each other, like Da Vinci, Archimedes, and Galileo Galilei, and showed modern technologies like helicopters or cars, they would understand their principles instantly and wouldn't have to think or investigate any further. That's because gasoline engines and airplanes were invented based on the physical laws from their time. So it's not so hard for them to understand those technologies. But it would either be impossible or difficult for them to understand such things like the TV, computer, or nuclear reactor because they didn't know that electrons or electric currents exist. The easiest example, according to Clarke, is the atomic bomb. The simplest explanation behind the science is that you can create an explosion just by putting 2 masses of uranium together. So, what happens if we say that to a 19th century scientist? What if we tell them, if we put these together, we can create an explosion as big as 2 tons of coal? The scientists would be shocked and patiently ask, do you know the law of thermal energy? Then, using their far deeper knowledge about science, such as the laws of physics and chemical reaction, they would spend a long time politely explaining to us how it would be impossible to create thermal energy just by putting 2 pieces of metal together. That's how nuclear reaction is out of paradigm for those who don't know it. Clarke said that's why people couldn't understand it. So, after consolidating all the tendencies, he established 3 laws about future predictions. These are the 3 laws. This one doesn't glare, right? The first law says, when a distinguished but elderly scientist states that something is possible, he is almost certainly right. When he states that something is impossible, he is most probably wrong. The second law, the only way of discovering the limits of the possible is to venture a little way past them into the impossible. And the third, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. The third one is famous, but the second one is a bit difficult. What it is that Clarke warned us not to say, something doesn't exist unless this was scientifically proven through numerous tests, and that includes superstitious phenomena, like telepathy or psychokinesis. The second law explains what thinking scientifically means, and the third law is the most famous one, which many of you might know. My point is that Laputa is sci-fi, and Miyazaki uses these 3 laws effectively in the movie.